All right, welcome back. So we used our macro in Excel. We got a bunch of, we got all of our voltage divider frequencies, all that fun stuff. Now we're here. So now we have to import for every single one of these, one of those voltage dividers for each probe, essentially. So this is the first probe over here in this box. And then we have this probe over here, the second probe down here. Now we have the 3 voltage dividers for each, of course, 1 to 5, we got the 10, we got the 20 for each of them. Now the way we import them is we're going to click on one of the sources, got to go to piecewise linear function, of course, and we're going to import it, those files that we just made. All right, and notice how we have a voltage divider 20 in here. This goes down to almost 2.5, so that is working wonderfully. So the part of the circuit we're into right now is kind of these muxes right here. These are going, this is the first probe, this is the second probe right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose which signal we're going to throw into all of these operations right here. So let's go back to Tina. So these are our muxes, these are the things that are going to be essentially choosing which one that we want. And so we have different 3 different voltage dividers right here. We're going to choose which ones. We need to have 3 different choices. We have the first 2. Now these muxes will go up to 8 different choices. Excuse me. And get the first 2 tied together, then the next 2 tied together, and the last ones we just all tied together for another choice. So the way we're going to do is we want to let's choose the 20. We'll get 2.5 volts to go through the circuit. That's nice and happy that way. So the way we're going to choose that is we got these switches right over here. These switches essentially will choose which one of these gets activated. So I want to get one of these 4 right here. Let's go with the 5. So that'll be 4 in binary, and that's just this. This is the most significant bit. This is the least significant bit. So we got 4 right there. Wonderful. Now let's simulate this and hope for the best. 1 millisecond. Wonderful. Hopefully this goes a little bit quicker. All right. It's a little quicker already. I don't think you guys want to see this though. I know I certainly wouldn't want to see this if I was watching this video. So I will do the same thing as I did before. I will cut back and all of a sudden it'll be magically done for you guys. All right, we are almost there. Bam, here we go. So here's the output. We're expecting a 20 voltage divider, so 50 divided by 20 is about 2.5, and look at that. We got about 2.5, that's not too bad. So let's separate the curves again. As you can see, we've got the positive half here, the negative half here. Now we're gonna go and send it into these muxes. Oh, actually, no, that's what's coming out of the mux, excuse me. So we do have to export this again. We're gonna do it yet again as text. We're gonna name this voltage select. Right, so that is exported. And now we have to go over to Excel. And we do the same thing, what we just made. Yes, it is the tab delimited file. Yes. All right, so we only got 2 this time instead of 6. So we're getting better. If you look down here, we have a lot of samples. I don't believe it was on camera, but when this thing first started, it has about 10 times less samples than that. So as you can see, if we had one gigantic circuit, this would take extremely long than it already is. Much longer than it already is, unfortunately. So to help us combat this, we're going to reduce it by a factor of about 10, of course. So we're going to go to our handy dandy macros. I'm going to choose these right here. Now I found a nice little shortcut for this. We made a macro specifically to not only split them up into different files, but it's also going to reduce the number of samples by a factor of 10. We use a modulus operator here. Where is it? Filter samples. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, we're going to be using a modulus of 10 to do this. So what that means, the modulus is that it's going to divide it by 10. If it's even, it's going to take every 10th sample and keep it. Only if it's a remainder of 0, though. Anyway, that's probably too much then you care to listen to. Anyway, point is, I took this and I actually made the macro on the keyboard, essentially. So if you go to options here, if I press Control plus A, it's just going to perform this macro, which makes this go a lot quicker than normally. So I'm going to press Control A, and the macro runs. Now we had around 11 samples, and now we just have 1,100. Which is still pretty high, but it's definitely workable. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to save as, and remember it only thinks in tab delimited form. So we have to save as tab delimited. All right, there's the base one. Let's go back to our circuit here. Now we're going to go to channel select. Now this is essentially going to pick the operation. Oop, where are we? There we are. Oh, this does not pick the operation, by the way. So we got to do the same thing. We have to import this. Voltage select 1. There you go, it came in. Now, like I said, we had 4 channels before. However, we're only using 2 of them right now because we only have 2 signals coming in. We got, well, it's technically 1 signal. However, we're chopping up into two parts. That one right there, wonderful. So you can put whatever you want in here, but they're going to be ignored essentially. All right. So the same thing. We're going to send it through this circuit here. It's going to select these 2 right here to send through. Let's start the simulation. We don't want that. We want 1 millisecond, not 10 micro. All right. I can just imagine if we had all those samples still in there, this would be taking 10 times as long. And every single time we do a simulation like this, it will increase it by 10 more times. So we really have to be on top of that whole modulus macro right there. It's one of the keys to getting this done in a timely manner. All right. So I'm going to pause the recording here, and when you get back, it'll be magically finished. All right. So we're back. We got our result right here. And now we're going to export them. So we can do the same thing. You can separate the curves if you want to. It'll export the same though, regardless of whether you separate them or not. Just letting me 2 data points the whole time. We're going to export them as text again. We're going to do channel select as the name. Save that. All right, and guess where we get to go? We get to go back to Excel. That is not Excel. This is Excel. All right. We're going to open up the file that we just made. We're going to go to Browse. We're going to go to Channel Select. Now, this is essentially the signal that's going to be going into all of the operations at the same time. So these are important signals right here. Now, once again, if we look all the way down, as you can see, it increased by 10 samples again. We have to get rid of that. We're going to be using our filter macro that filters out every 10. It's going to filter out. It's going to only accept every 10th sample. We're going to press Control A to do that. And there's 1, and then there's the second signal. All right, excellent. So let's just make sure that we only have 1,000 something. Perfect. We're going to go to File, Save As, because what is it rooted as? Tab delimited. So there's the first one. We're going to go to the second one. Save it as tab delimited. All right. We got those saved now. We're going to go back to our file here. So the signal came out over here. And now we got all of our operations here that we're going to be going through. And we'll be going on to that stuff in the next video, I think. This is a pretty good place to stop for now. So I'll see you guys in the next video.